when I read about you, when I was doing my little research on printers, right, I said I should put together a few printer stories. What interesting stories that has occurred in my life regarding printers. Do you people recall some interesting stories regarding printers or scanners? Any of those capture devices? Just think and you will be surprised. Because the first time when I saw a scanner was still very rare in organizations those days. It was a dot matrix or a line matrix, I think. And I had to go across to the counter, sign a register saying I am taking 3 pages of printout. Pretty strange, right? And I made a mistake of formatting. I was called in and given a stiff reprimand of wasting papers and wasting printer cartridges. Another interesting story I recall is I go to an agent, actually, housing agent, and he says everything. Then he says, "Wait, I'll give you a printout of our offerings." And he has all of his stuff that he has pulled on a box. He removes everything. He switches on and gives me a printout of that. So printers then were becoming like stands for various things. So you can actually go back and put together your own little stories. But I would like to hear from you, Maruti, your little story, your 20-year romance, with printer. Isn't your wife angry with you?
Not really, because everybody has a destiny. I have decided to continue with the printing career. When you ask about an interesting story, I remember the days when I was selling line matrix printers. When we used to launch line matrix printers, those used to be heavy printers. And they used to be expensive, right from 1.5 lakhs to 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs kind of products. Getting the acceptability used to be difficult. We used to do little numbers, but that used to give you a lot of satisfaction. So what I used to do, whenever a new product is launched, my company has given a Maruti van to me. I used to keep the printer in the van. I used to go from one district to another district, showing the product to all the BSNL offices, showing the product in all the collectorate offices, and creating the awareness. That used to give a lot of satisfaction.
So when was this?
Almost 17, 18 years back.
Okay. And where were you doing these journeys?
I used to do in Andhra Pradesh. I used to go to each and every district and used to give these demonstrations. And at that point of time, when we were selling line matrix printers, we used to remember the days when an entry-level laser printer used to cost about 40,000 rupees. It used to be a dream for us, for anybody to have a laser. From those days, now we have reached a situation where an entry-level laser product is available at less than 10,000 rupees. It is a multifunction product itself is available at less than 10,000 rupees. It's a long journey to go.
In fact, you're right. I'm thinking of when did I see my first laser printer? It was at a quasi NGO funded by the Ministry of Environment and Forests. There I saw my first laser printer, and it was so expensive. They had bought it, off the record, they had bought it from the World Bank funding. Those were the kind of ages that we are talking about. But suddenly, printers or scanners or any of these capture devices that we have been seeing, I don't think they used to be part of a strategic plan of a CIO or a CTO in an organization. It was treated more like office stationery, glorified office stationery. So somewhere, that importance started, coming on. So what's been your experience with that?
You are right. As long as you treat a multifunction printer as a hardware, then it will become the last priority even today. But if you treat the multifunction printer as a device that would help you, to create information and make the information available to you on demand. That means instead of printing, we are started talking about information. Right? When this transformation has happened, then it has started becoming, a core product or a portfolio out of IT manager. It has started gaining importance.
That's very interesting. I think so. The moment it stops becoming a hardware.
Yeah.
So the realization or the importance of what these devices can do. It's an evolutionary process. It's not in one go that happens. That actually brings us to a very important thing, which is what has brought us today together, and which has given these devices a demigod status. I was wondering, are you going nuts? Are you telling me that you have a printer, a high-end printer, an enterprise printer, you have a scanner, right? Is it driving workflow these days? Am I crazy? But no. It is the truth of the day that these little machines, it used to be printers used to be normally near the water coolers, right? Relegated. How many of you have seen printers near water coolers or away from the buzz of the organization? But now these days they are part of us. They are part of a vital network. So workflow, I realized, is very, very important. But there is also this thing that it is not the printers, it is not the scanners which make a workflow. It is the process which make a workflow. And as they say, a well-designed workflow recedes in the background and the focus comes on the work itself. So how do you think this age can be realized? What's your experience?
As you have mentioned, when there is a strong workflow resides at your background, then it takes out a lot of pain that the organization is going through in terms of information availability. It will make sure, a strong workflow will make sure the information is available to you when you need it. That makes your job simpler and makes your decision faster. That means you are able to concentrate on your core job rather than trying to find out information where it is. In my presentation, I have shown you some filing cabinets, and people trying to search the information. From that age, these workflows are going to help us, really to improve our top lines and bottom lines.
And you brought out a very interesting thing. You showed that those things out there, with a lot of filing cabinets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When we are talking about a digital workflow, are we saying, what is the use of a printer out there? What is the use of a scanner out there? Because we are digitizing it.
Okay, if I have to answer printing as a portion, see, why do we need to store information? Because at some point of time, we want to retrieve the information. When you retrieve the information, sometimes you want to see the information on your screen. Some people are more comfortable to see that information on a paper. Right? So when somebody wants to see the information on a paper, the printers would definitely make a role, or multifunction printers would definitely make a role, to give you a document in the form that you require.
Right. So basically what you are saying is the signals to us still come from an analog world. We need to capture that. So to capture that, you need these MFPs. And then to give it back in the analog format, you still require printers and stuff like that.
Exactly.
That's very interesting. You also talked about what we now broadly call as a process, right? Normally, what happens, those people, that gentleman, who pointed out that in his particular organization, printers or scanners are considered, both as a hardware and as a strategic play. Actually, will connect with this question better. We talk about process. Often, what I have found is you bring in all these devices and then you think about process. There is there are trends of that kind, right? It's like, when I think of a process, I always think, what if we are getting out of the aircraft? What if the washrooms were situated or were located after we picked up the baggage bin, right? So they have thought about the workflow properly. There is a design element which has gone in as far as the workflow is concerned. But I don't think organizations are really thinking about their workflows that deeply, and and then thinking about what devices to bring in. What's your experience?
I do agree that certain other organizations may take some ad hoc decisions. But normally what we see is the processes are already existing. The organization should see how to improve an existing process and how they should convert that into an electronic workflow so that the desired results are achieved. Like in terms of improving the productivity, in terms of saving the time. They need to have milestones. Okay, by doing this activity, I need to achieve this. Okay. So when they are actually designing a workflow, they should keep tab on every milestone, and during the design stage, they should see whether those milestones are met while designing. So you will be getting tempted with what you have in front of you, but I think by setting up this kind of a process, you should review and come back to the core process and ensure that what you buy meets your requirement.
Do you think, Maruti, this kind of planned designing of workflows really happens in India? What's your take?
I think that because people know the pain points, the organizations are committed that they need to take out those pain points from their employees. I'm sure a lot of thought goes inside while designing these workflows.
Decides on getting on to a workflow. What are the some of the key concerns that typically they have? You have seen so many.
One of the biggest concerns any organization that come across is like knowingly or unknowingly, everybody will have some applications already existing in their system. When you introduce a new workflow, whether the new workflow gets seamlessly integrated with the current application what you have, whether the flow is smooth or not. This is one of the things that comes to everybody's mind. And when you look at the other point, what is the acceptance level of the employees when you want to go for a workflow? Because as a human being, we always resist change.
Right.
And the third and most important point, the one thing that bothers them is rate of return.
Okay.
For the investment what they are making, whether they will be able to get the return or not. I think these are the three top points that hits my mind when you ask this question.
You talked about whether places there might be existing workforce already, and if they are trying to change or bring in a new workflow, whether the concern is primarily whether these two work together or not. Right? Are we missing something here? Is it also the willingness on the persons or the individuals or the group of individuals part to change and learn a new way of doing things? Is that a...
You are right, because as I mentioned, people resist a change. When a new thing comes in, they always invite a new concept with a suspicion. Okay. So, but once it starts delivering results, the pace at which the change happens increases because the people start gaining the confidence.
See, I am particularly interested in this because you have been in the dot matrix age through the flow age. So have you seen this to be common, this mindset problem?
Yes, it is a nature of a human being. So resisting a change is whenever a human being is involved. I feel it is my personal opinion, and there is always a change.
But have you seen at the same time? You see, I have seen when technology has improved, that mindset gradually recedes slowly. See, these days I am coming to this thing with a touch pad, right? Earlier I used to go around with a paper and pencil. Even now I run for a paper and pencil because that's more easier, sometimes. But technology makes things a lot easier. But technology also at times make it much more overwhelming. I'll give you an example. I told you my story of being reprimanded by my manager for wasting those papers. Recently, I realized that I was giving a printout in my organization, and suddenly there is a mail to me. You have used so many sheets this week. So I said, oh my God, this was not there earlier. This is like going back 20 years. There seems to be a lot of intelligence being built, right, in the devices that we see. So is this going to improve productivity, or is this going to put people back into that fear mode?
Actually, there is no question of getting fear. See, when you restrict the printing, you want to control the cost, right? As you rightly said, you want to remove the wastage. When you want to remove the wastage, there can be a restriction. I suppose what you are saying is, you are getting an email where you have used your quota. That means there is a software installed in your system wherein they are able to set a quota so that it keeps monitoring the usage against the quota set to you.
Yeah.
Okay. So that definitely helps the IT managers to keep the budgets under control. At the same time, I have also heard you about talking about security.
Yeah.
Right? Restricting the access would help you to improve the security. Right?
Organizations plan budget for multifunction devices, and the natural behavior is I should get the most out of my device, right? Isn't it? When I invest in these kind of devices, I should get most from my devices, and I'm not going to change it till it dies, right? That is the what do you call the behavior, one may say, or a prudent policy that people, organizations follow. What do you have to say about that?
I feel this depends upon organization to organization. Most of the organizations are having clear refreshment policies. Like when they say the life of this kind of a product is 3 years, or somebody define it as 5 years. At the end of those periods, they go for recycling of the product. They go for they remove the old machine and they put the new machine. When they do that, there are many advantages. Like you get a latest technology product. When you get a latest technology product, it has lot many features when compared with the earlier products. So that will give you advantage. And again, what we are saying is, with the new and inventions, there are a lot of features like power saving feature. Earlier the devices used to consume 1000 watts. Nowadays the new devices consume only 500 watts. I'm just giving an example. The numbers could vary. So the organizations have started realizing that the technology refresh is not a cost. No, it is going to be a saving. If you look at as a TCO, so I think they are framing policies to do a regular technology refresh.
So you are saying basically that this is now becoming part of the overall strategy, right? And it's getting into the CIOs and the CTOs dashboard.
Actually, if you really want to have security, see, as I mentioned to you can have different types of solutions that are available for information security. If I have to a little bit elaborate it, a printed page lying on a printer uncollected is a security threat because there is a lot of information in it. Okay. So what organizations can do is they can have various types of security measures, to ensure that their information is secure. For example, I'll just give you a few examples. They can implement solutions like you can get access to device only when you put in your username and password. That means you fire a print job, you go to the device, you put in the pin and then collect the print job. It is helping in two ways. Number one, it is saving the backup because you don't go there unless you want the printout. That means unwanted prints you don't take it. Okay. Number two, security, because when you are going, the printing is happening in front of you. That means the document is secure. In security, you can have other type of security also. For example, somebody feels that inputting username and password is always a cumbersome exercise. We have some solutions like you go and flash your access card, the one which you used to get into your office, and get access to the printer also, because it gets synced with Active Directory. If it is a confidential document, we have some solutions. When you fire a print job, it goes and resides in the printer. Okay, and when you go and flash your access card, then only it will print the document. So your confidentiality is secure, but some people who are still not adapted to that kind of a technology may still go for an individual printer. I'm not disputing